Welcome to the Back and Guys. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is getting ready, man. We got a big weekend. Once we swim out of our houses, we're going to be ready to go. I was talking, guys, just so you know, I was talking to Dylan and Jeremy and everybody over at Belfour. I guess last night, over 20 phone calls for water damage, flooding. Woo! Yeah, so it's a rough time. Belfour Property Restoration, restoring more than just property. I got you. Tell them Levac sent you when you call, and they'll take good care of you. They actually like me, so you'll be good. But yeah, so it's a little craziness over here. I'm running on energy drinks and bad intentions. So let's talk some sports ball and have some fun.
You watching that young broadcaster there? Levac just squeezed in 2 sponsors within 1 minute of the show.
Well, quickly. One sponsor and then one threat to C4 to start talking to me again. You know, that's I do love the red, white, and blue can for Monster, though. That's just the cool thing they did. That's the cool thing. Don't worry.
Spence, keep your email open on August 1st.
Yeah, Spence, where you at, man? Where you at, homie? Where you at? I miss you, homie.
I told you.
Best, by the way.
Love some C4s. Hopefully we'll continue that partnership.
But Lisa's brought me another C4 last night at Flock U.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, it's delicious, man. I got my fridge stacked with them right now. Let's talk about Flock U from last night. I told you on yesterday's show we were going to talk about it. A lot has happened involving the Albany Firebirds. On tomorrow's show, that'll be the 31st, we'll talk more about the game. But before we talk about the actual game, let's break down what happened yesterday. Usually this is where I'd pepper you with questions, but I kind of miss the old days of the presidential opening statement. I miss the presidential address. Why don't you, Levac, give me your thoughts on how Flock U went, and you can take that however you want, whether that's production, whether it's you as a host, the crowd. Take us through your thoughts on last night's Flock University.
First of all, I'm mesmerized by the lighting and how much it's showing the 2 gray strip. Like that, you would like, are they not perfectly gray stripped in? Like, does it look like I did that on purpose?
That looks like you dyed it. Yes, it did. I usually never notice that, but that one today looks like Levac's doing that on purpose. It's got like a
Mother Nature and arena football. That's what's doing this. This one's Mike Corda. this one is the front office. Now, you know, it was the thing that always amazes me about Flock U is not just the fact that like Damon Ware knows everything. Like, you know what I mean? When you talk about football, he knows all the things. He's dialed in. He's ready to go. What are you doing with the banner?
So that wouldn't distract you. I'll try to put our names back up, but go ahead.
I'm like, blue car. Mike Corda said to me yesterday, he goes like, you're like a cat with a laser pointer. I'm like, it's not true. No, so we broke down a lot of the stuff, you know, the upcoming matchups. He said flat out, like the 4 best teams are alive. So, which, you know, isn't hyperbole. It's real. Minnesota has proven that they belong. Michigan has proven that they're the hottest team in the game right now. And Nashville's been the most consistent. If not for one crazy last play against Kentucky, they'd be undefeated this season. So, and, you know, Albany's kind of good. So that's all there. He said he was preparing for Minnesota more than anybody else anyway. He kind of felt like that was the way it was going to play out. And he openly admitted as much as it's whoever, you know, he'd love Michigan because that would mean the game is here. He loves the rivalry with Coach Arbette. You know, they're friends. They respect each other. You know, he would love to face Coach Arbette in the Crown. So he's not looking past Minnesota, but when asked about the Crown, he went right there. I'll pause here because I see a quizzical look on your face.
I do have a few quizzical thoughts here. Let's go with that's good. I don't have really much thought of it. I thought you were going to go a different direction, so I'll point us to that direction. Any thoughts on the double bye week, which it's turned into because you have the bye week because of the postseason and no game on the bottom of the regular season?
Yeah, we needed it to get healthy, you know. So he has to have his media roster into the league today. He's already sent it in. And he said it was going to be a hard decision because how many guys are healthy now, which is a great problem to have. So, you know, as much as 2 weeks of idle time can be tough, these guys are pros. The coaching staff are pros. And don't forget, you know, Coach Ware did have to go, you know, to the Philippines because of, you know, a family matter. So it all kind of timed out fairly well, you know, and I think it'll actually benefit the team going into this week because of health.
I will call myself out on that. I know you were setting up a lot of the threads. I believe you said that when you first said it. I'm like, what if I ask the same question a second time and try to get a second answer? That's an old press conference move. Levac is not biting on that, so darn it, but I tried my best. Young broadcaster, are you taking notes on today's episode? We got some tactics we're busted out on this Thursday. Who needs to go to Newhouse and Levac guys are doing their own tricks on themselves or against each other? All right, anyways, let's talk about the quarterbacks.
Thank God we can't see below your chest. Well, actually, one more thing about Flock U. Actually, if you want to keep talking roster, I'll give you the other point about Flock U afterwards. Go ahead.
No. Give it to me. No. I interrupted.
Well, no, it's not player stuff. It's not about roster. So if you want to talk about roster, let's keep roster and then
let's go roster.
Okay, and then we'll go to the other thing.
This is my new thing I like to do because I'm a WWE fan. I like to look at the graphics of what's being promoted on future shows. I noticed the AF1 Instagram graphic of the semifinals. The featured player was Sam Castronova. I also noticed that in the team picture, Sam Castronova was there. Let's talk about the quarterback position. What if it all was said about the quarterback position for Saturday's game?
That we'd have to wait and see who the official starter was going to be. I think it's going to be Sam, but I did see Josh Kulka pop through Flock U last night. The Flock support, the fans, they did their adopt a player the final round, so they were there at the Landings Hotel to give the guys their bags. And Josh made a point to come through and thank everybody again, which I thought was a really cool thing. I think it'll be Sam. I think because I know Sam's been having some really good practices this week, but knowing where. He's not going to tell you until he has to tell you. So if you ask me to place a wager, I would say Castronova. But if you ask me to care which one it is, don't. They're both good. They're both very, very good. If you put their two numbers together, we have the number one passing offense in the league. So we're good either way. We're okay.
I love how I have to preface all these statements with the Firebirds because the Flock is passionate. That's okay.
A little too passionate.
No.
A little too much.
Earlier this month, for those who might be joining us for the first time, I took some heat from people about my assessment that when the things were in front of me to make an assessment of who I thought the quarterback would be for an upcoming game, I thought it was going to be Kulka for all the things that were in front of me. I can confidently tell you now on Thursday, July 30th, I've never been more confused by a local team in the most important position than this happening right now. That is bizarre to me. We got tomorrow's show to talk about it again. So hopefully something provides a little bit more clarity between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I wish I had a strong take on Thursday. Yeah.
So you're confused and it's causing you angst and it's taking up time for you to figure out who might the starting quarterback of the Albany Firebirds will be on Saturday when they face the Minnesota Monsters. I wonder if the Minnesota Monsters and Coach Clark are having similar issues.
The answer to that would be yes. They absolutely would be.
I wonder why this is happening.
Whether it's 2 weeks from now, a month from now, or Sunday, or when you and I have a show again, our schedule gets a little weird in August. It's the first week because of vacation and everything. But this is hard to figure out. And we could talk more about it like on Friday's show, but Kulka's played really well. Sam's played really well. Sam wasn't there for a while. Wasn't really clear why Sam wasn't there. But then Sam was back. And then it's their business. It's their life. Just assessing it from my perspective, I think Sam's played very well. At times, he's probably not going to win the MVP this year. He won it in 25. He played really well. Kulka's played really well. It's a hard conversation to have with both those guys. On this Thursday, I feel far more confused and less clear about it than I did 2 weeks ago. And it's back to your point you said, or 3 weeks ago. Back to your point. Good. Because Minnesota should feel the same way.
Yep,
that's done on purpose for media members, broadcasters, and teams. That's the strategy.
Yeah, and look, is it gamesmanship? Sure, but it's and again, it's also what I find the most hysterical about it is they're both playing at all pro levels, right? They both have great numbers. They both present true passing threats. Both are mobile. Sam's a little more mobile than Josh, but Josh can run. So realistically, just get ready. strap on, get your chin strap on, because one of those two dudes is going to be throwing 5-6 touchdowns against you. Hell, maybe both will be on the field at once. You never know. You never know. And that's the beauty of having the professor as your head coach. You're going to see something you haven't seen before.
More stuff for us to talk about on Friday show as we preview the game. So I'll move on from that to that one question you said, non-roster involved. What was the storyline you had there?
The flock is crazy. Okay.
Like, I knew you were going to say that. So you pay attention, young broadcaster. Levac left a clue while he was responding to my answer. I knew it was about the flock.
So I'm watching the comments and I'm hearing, like, I can hear some of the things that are going on at Rivers, and I'm watching the comments, and I guess like a fan of Minnesota made some quip about we were going to need Tylenol, we were going to need aspirin because they were going to give us headaches or something like that. So they're all like shaking pill bottles, getting ready. That kind of stuff. But they've cherry-picked a member of the Minnesota Monsters that they are familiar with. And I guarantee that this player is going to get the weirdest welcome in the history of the MVP arena. And that's Minnesota kicker Michael Hall. And for those of you who don't remember, Michael Hall was a member of the Antonio Brown Albany Empire. He was a key figure on the bus ride from hell. This dude has got to have grapefruits to be coming back to the Capital Region. Because as soon as I said his name, because they kept saying it in the chat. So I was like, all right, listen, it's Flock University. It's a class participation situation. I said his name. The entire place starts chanting and booing him. Inside Van Slyck's at Rivers, if you were out playing the slots or blackjack or any of that stuff, you probably had no idea what the hell was going on. Michael Hall is going to get probably the worst. Michael Hall he's the representative of the Antonio Brown saga in these guys' minds, and they are going to boo the hell out of him every time he walks out on that field.
Please, Michael Kelly, Adam Schinder, AJ Pinkowski, Roger Weiland.
Schinder was there last night. He's well aware of what's going on. Schinder was there.
Oh, this is a beautiful storyline. I hope more local media outlets in the 518 in the Capital Region cover that storyline. That is awesome. That is a playoff storyline where you have somebody with those types of ties getting booed by the local crowd in a playoff game who plays an impactful position, who might play up the heel stuff. Oh, I love stuff like that. And look, good for the passionate crowd. I can only imagine the people at Rivers who have, been a part of this deep into the season, hearing a crowd get that wild and worked up during a coach's show. I know it probably freaked you out because you're trying to keep focus and you're producing, you're moving, you're there. Man, if I was there, that probably would have been awesome. So
I was laughing my ass off. I was laughing my ass off. And Ware is dying. Ware is dying. Because remember, Ware was on that bus. That was the last day that Ware was the coach of the Empire. Because while that bus ride is happening, Antonio Brown is on the phone with Damon Ware and venting crazy. When they got to the Capital Region, that was it. That was the end of the Empire as we knew it. Our guys took off down south to Orlando. They kept playing for a little while. I think they went through like 4 head coaches in 4 weeks or something like that. And then, as Coach Ware likes to put it, the best part about it is if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have this. If you didn't have the implosion of the Empire, you would not have had the rebirth of the Firebirds, which I love the positive, always, as the great Monty Python said, always look on the bright side of life. And, that's a lesson that I think we could all learn. But if you think about it, man, that poor dude, he is like the last face of what happened. He was the last one who went against the family and is coming back to the area.
For this podcast audience, it continues to change. Let me remind everybody one more time how incredibly unique that is to upstate New York sports. A reaction like that at a coach's show in the postseason. Baseball coaches shows really don't happen because of travel in the season. And if you got a coach's show, it might be just an interview with Boone, like John Boy Media had it, a radio station might have. So it's not really a coach's show. Same there in the Capital Region. Like if you hear a Siena or Union or Albany coach, it's not really a show. We're going to talk for 15 minutes. Buffalo, the Brady McDermott shows are so edited, you don't even think did he even get asked a question? Was he just floating through for 30 minutes? Syracuse's are odd too. Sometimes they're too soft. That's what you want as a fan. You get to interact with the players and coaches. You respond how you want. You as the host are responding. You're getting that's what you want. So I love all that stuff, man. I think it's awesome. I'm glad the fans are passionate about it. And I give this compliment to the flock all the time. And moments like this deserve this. Capital Region, 518. There is no fan base like that. Sienna's close. Sienna Hoops is close. Sienna Hoops has just been around a lot longer. But I don't see Sienna Hoops fans booing opposing players on a random Wednesday in July. So credit to the flock, man. They're awesome.
Maybe in the peak of the Lastros, maybe the Valley Cats, when the Valley Cats were getting like the top draft picks coming through the area because the Astros were so bad, maybe because you were getting the noisemakers and people would come for the fireworks and all that stuff. But that would be the only other time. And programming note for Flock U. Next week, Damon and I will most likely be on the road. I mean, I'll definitely, and if Nashville wins, Damon and I will not be in the Capital Region. Regardless of the outcome for us, I'm going to have to go to the Crown. So that'll be like more of a remote show. And then I believe the week after the Crown, we're going to be at Herbie's Burgers in Clifton Park, but that's it. Like, then we're going to take a break, so there's only probably 2 more Flock U's left, 1 live one for this season, and then we'll do a couple sporadically in the off season to keep you guys informed. But the people who were smart enough to come out last night and swim to rivers in that rainstorm, you're part of a crazy show and maybe one of the last live ones for a while. So good on you.
More Firebird, Monster, and AF1 talk again on tomorrow's show. We move on to the New York Yankees.
Oh, yeah, this is me just crushing monsters. Yeah.
Vivek and I have talked a lot about the Yankees course of the year, and I remember I was making this banner earlier this evening, and I was like, Sanchez and the Yankees defensive errors in it. Gary Sanchez is back? Wait, no. They're totally different Sanchez. Sanchez and the Yankees, Levac last night, it did have a little flashback of Gary Sanchez. I don't think it's that bad, but it definitely had some type of impact on the game last night.
Well, Ali Sanchez, you go from hero to scapegoat, and I think because he hit that home run, he was feeling his oats. So here we are in yesterday's game. It's late in the game. You got the tying run at third, and I think he tries to get the runner to go back. And he said after the game, I noticed he was getting slower and slower as he was getting back to the bag. But he threw a terrible throw. Ryan McMahon does everything he can to bring it in. It doesn't matter. Game gets tied. Yankees end up losing. Ali Sanchez is getting destroyed. And dude, he lost you the game. So not wrong on that. And people are killing Boone for pulling out Cam Schlittler, but you could see Cam wasn't pitching as well as he had been. He hit a batter and all that stuff. Here's the thing. As bad as that was for Yankee fans, that's worse for you. I think it's even worse for you guys than it is for us.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because I think the Yankees will now make a move on a catcher. And I know that the catcher they've called on so far happens to play for your Orioles. Adley Rutschman.
Really?
They've called on him. I don't know how receptive the answer was, but they've called on him. And imagine if now that's what pushes them to pull the trigger on that deal, to give Baltimore some kind of deal that they can't say no to. And you lose Rutschman, and he comes to the Yankees, and now we got an all-star caliber backstop.
Okay, I'll get to that in a second here. Hang on. Let me first go back to the recap of last night's game a little bit. I see what's being said about last night's loss, especially with people down towards the city, FAN and New York. People are calling last night's loss the worst loss of this. Stop it. It is not the worst loss of the season. You're telling me a 1-run loss to a first-place team is the worst loss of the season? Because that's what Chicago is, right? Like, they're first place in the AL Central. It didn't cost you anything in the division yet. Didn't cost you it's not. And it's somebody who loves labeling people in games and putting these hottest take. Trust me, if I had a chance to call it the worst loss of the season, I would have fired off right here on a Thursday. It ain't that. So trust me on that one. It's not the worst loss of the season. As to your talk there about Adley Rutschman, I hope to God that's not true. Baltimore's going to do it. Now, look, Adley Rutschman's been hurt more recently. He hasn't been missing the whole year, but he's gone to the IL recently. The backup's been okay, fine. I I'll give you this credit. I actually had him in my fantasy team. I'm sitting there just updating my lineup. I'm like, I'll take the other Oriole catcher as my backup. Fine. I'm battling for a playoff spot. So he is hurt. So that obviously will play a factor in whether or not that move's made. He was a freak when he started.
Yeah.
When you can bat left-handed and you're the fastest out of the box, and you had all these like stats you wanted, like a freak prospect, somebody you make up in a video game. He hasn't been a freak. Matt Wieters is kind of what I compare him to. I know it's a deep pull for some baseball fans, where Wieters was this catcher for Baltimore, had this unbelievable hype, where Baltimore fans would do the Chuck Norris jokes about Matt Wieters. They just inserted his name. Adley Rutschman had that type of urban legend to him. There's nothing that they could give Baltimore and be like, take some of our prospects and then use them against us. Baltimore system is probably better than New York's prospect-wise, but as we always talk about, that's great. You got 10 prospects. They're all not going to play for your team eventually. You know, I got a certain amount of spots on the big league roster. I hope they don't trade him, but boy, we've heard it from a lot of other Yankee people that they need a catcher, and last night felt like that for New York.
I just, are you out of the dinger pool, by the way?
Yes, I'm out of the dinger pool. I went 0 for 2, I think, this year. I was knocked out in the first week, back-to-back sessions.
So I had Jordan first week. I had Matt Olson this week. Matt Olson in a home run in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. So I'm cruising to the next week. You see, we just got an email from our commissioner of the dinger pool.
I don't, because he doesn't email losers anymore. He's only the winners are on that one.
Oh, sorry. Well, here, I'll read it to you. Nick Kurtz is starting on the IL stint, and Kyle Schwarber has been hurt. If you have a guy injured or has been questionable, etc., feel free to make a switch and do your own research. I am switching to Sal Stewart of the Reds. You can just switch?
Only if they're hurt. That was a rule they inserted this year, yeah. Only if they're hurt because they thought, like, that's not fair if he gets hurt. The odds of them still hitting a home run stays the same. It actually might decrease. It's like the 21 Monty Hall door thing. That has been a rule. So if your guy, only if he gets hurt, yeah.
Because, like, I need your money. You know what I mean? Like, if I could, like, I think we shelled 10 people in the first week, and a couple bought back in, and then, like, the fact that I'm already moving on, I know who I'm taking next week. I'm down to 3, but, like, you know, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? We just changed the rules to try to get. We got the screw Levac button we're hitting. How dare you?
Things like that, which is basically like a survivor pool in the NFL. So if you have like a survivor pool, a dinger pool, if you watch the shows like Big Brother, Survivor, anything, if you get voted out, if you are eliminated, if you're no longer in contention, I don't love buybacks. I like money, but I don't love the idea that somebody played by a different set of rules than somebody else. I could run through characters on Survivor and Big Brother who voted out but came back and won. So yeah, I don't. Because that's a different game that person's playing than you, and that's not fair.
I don't mind the buybacks because that means I'm going to get more money when I win this thing. I don't like the injured thing. That's just because I was about to ask, like, if because when the first game got rained out for Mets Braves, I was like, wait a minute, if they postpone this to outside of my week, does that mean I have one less game? If he hits a home run in that game, do I get to stay alive? Like. But luckily they did the doubleheader in the same week, so it didn't have to happen. But listen, we can only change rules when it helps me. Okay, that's my number one rule. I'm as a poor person, I need all your monies. Please send me all your human monies, please. I'm in
a fantasy football league back here in Syracuse, and we had 14 teams for everyone. Guy said he just didn't want to do it anymore, and the commissioner is like, I kind of don't want to add anybody. Let's do a 13-team fantasy football league, and I'm like. Gosh, that's the weirdest and dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because you have like
you watch the league. That was the dumbest.
Yeah, it was. Right. So they have like medium score, and he's doing all these things. And in my head, I'm like, man, I really want 14. But there's also part of me, it's like the guy who left traded away a bunch of draft picks, and he was probably going to have the spot ahead of me. So I'm like, ooh, boy, my team gets a lot better with 13 teams and this guy not in. 13 sounds fine. Now that you mentioned it this year. So how does it benefit us?
We should do a Levac and Gaz league this year. We should do.
Right. I'm not doing iHeart.
Well, I am. I'm taking their money. I'm taking their money. I'm doing iHeart. Maybe we do a Levac and Gaz celebrity fantasy league, like Corey from Greenwich. Right. Happy birthday, Emmanuel Babari. Maybe Babari will jump in.
All right.
We get like all the regulars from the show.
Boston Dan.
Boston Dan gets
He's
in.
looking for some fantasy football love. Matt
What
Bob,
do we do?
Bill and Salve. We get all the people who contribute to this show who are active contributors.
90s
That's our
kid.
thank you to them. Yeah, that's our thank
And
you
this
to
way we
them.
can find out what their
Ryan
government
McCarthy.
name is too, and we can start coming after them.
Dustin Henry, all the good people. Awesome.
Who's the most famous person you've ever been in a fantasy football league with?
Ooh.
Is it me?
Maybe. Weren't we in the league with somebody who does like the Green Bay Packer? That's not a great sell. Somebody who does something was pretty famous, right?
I was in one with Darius Rucker.
That's cool. That's
awesome. He's a good dude, man. He's good. He's a Dolphins fan, so he's not very good, but there you go. All right. Speaking of not being very good, how's your midget quarterback treating you?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield in the news. Baker Mayfield took to the podium today during practice and said he felt disrespected a little bit. And that's really disappointing, a disappointing part of it. Baker Mayfield talking about not having a new contract heading into training camp. He said he's going to focus on ball going forward. Baker later on, quote, "If you've waited this long to take care of your franchise quarterback, that's too bad because it's only going to get worse from here. I'm going to have a really good year." We've covered this a couple times now, the Baker issue. And boy, my phone was lighting up today, making sure everyone who I guess knows that I'm a Buccaneer fan wanted to let me know if I saw the Baker video today, which is the fun and frustrating part of this job. Levac, I'm going to go first on this.
Well, can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. If it took this long to take care of your franchise quarterback, is it possible that you're not their franchise quarterback?
That answer is correct. That's the correct answer. That's it. Look, they don't want to pay him. I was so mad at myself today because I was thinking about prepping for the show today, thinking about like what we're going to talk about.
I decided not to, but I thought about it.
Mental preps. I got those old mental reps up here, and I thought, am I changing as a human being? Am I changing as I get closer to 40 than I am 25? Where I'm like, how does he not get this? That was my attitude today about Baker Mayfield. Like, how does he not understand how professional sports work? You and I, me in particular, but like you and I have covered and talked about and liked things that isn't very loyal. You know, the businesses we like, radio, sports, pro wrestling, the idea that there's loyalty or you're going to be paid back for the contributions you've had don't happen in those things that I like. Like what Baker is now at his point of his career, it doesn't make sense for Tampa to pay him. If Tampa stinks, which I think they're gonna, or if Tampa has a top 12, 15, 10, you see where I'm going here. If they're in that mix, it makes way more financial sense to draft a quarterback in the first round. Pick one. Lenoris Sellers, Julian Sayans, CJ Carr, Archman. There's going to be Todd McShay is going crazy. He says there's going to be 6 or 7 QBs drafted in the top 15. It might be like the Caleb Williams COVID draft, right? It makes more sense to do that. Who knows? Maybe the Bucs trade Baker. That's the point I'm at now, unfortunately. You either let him play this thing out and get no value in return, or you deal him at the deadline and let him walk, or you franchise tag him if you're good. They don't want him. They don't want Vita Vea. They don't want Baker. They don't want to be good. That's it. I wish Baker would have been younger or Tampa wouldn't have sucked, but they're not going to pay him. I hope Tampa's good, but I think they're going to be terrible this year.
Who wants Baker? Like, who would give up something to get Baker?
He's better than Geno, right? For the Jets. He's better than a lot of guys.
You're not going to give up. So, like, I think you're full of crap. I don't think you believe what you're saying. I think you got to the truth. Like, you said it doesn't make sense to pay Baker Mayfield right now. You don't believe that. You want Baker Mayfield to be your quarterback. You actually like him. You believe in him.
Oh, it's our classic debate. Yes, I would love Baker to be. I'm glad Baker's the quarterback this year. It is two different things. You're right. I do want Baker to be the quarterback this year. I don't think they should pay him for 2028 and 29.
But I think you got to the right place where he's not worth what he thinks he's worth. He's not worth it to you guys. So here's the question. What team is win now but doesn't have a quarterback? Because he's proven that he can come in and when he's got that chip on his shoulder, you know, he plays pretty well. What team is there? And barring an injury, Minnesota already brought in Kyler Murray. Like, I don't know who's the team that's right there, but doesn't have a quarterback and would be willing to give up assets that are valuable. What are we talking about? A third round pick? I don't think we're getting you're not getting a first round pick for him.
Just to fire off some teams, and I can't figure out the perfect combination would be either to bring a guy in like this, like Houston. Houston's in the same spot, though. Houston might have to pay CJ Stroud, and Baker's been better than CJ, but there's been moments where CJ Stroud looked like he's going to be the best young quarterback ever, especially early in his career. So he's not the Colts believe in Daniel Jones, and they probably want to dump Richardson. It's not the Colts. They're not really win now, although they were 8-2 at one point last season. You're not going to trade him to Atlanta. Atlanta's got you and I playing first team reps right now in training camp with everybody. There is no perfect match for him for an all-in win now team.
Ooh, I got it. Well, in both, so they're both AFC West teams, and it really depends on how these guys look. I saw like one of the fake NFL reporters put up a video of Mahomes looking like he hurt himself again, and I'm like, I don't know if it's a real video or not because the guy's a fake reporter. So I'm assuming it's not. But let's say he's not ready for the year. You did bring over Fields, whatever, but Baker would be a better answer than Fields. Denver is the only team. Bring him in, have him push Bo Nix. If Bo Nix's foot isn't healthy, if Sean Payton and Bo Nix's relationship is as fractured as I'm think it might be, Denver's the only team that makes sense because that defense is win now. You've got enough on offense that if you have a decent, like if Bo Nix is healthy, you're fine. They don't need him. But I don't know if Bo Nix is healthy. And I don't know if Bo Nix is like, it's rare that you have the kind of weird public dust up that Bo Nix and Sean Payton had and then never hear about it again. And it's okay. Usually you hear something like you see them like, oh no, yeah, coach and I had a good talk. Something of that nature happens rapidly and then you're fine. The fact that that didn't happen leads me to believe that Denver is going to have a quarterback problem this year. Denver is the only team that if they want him, they might come get him.
Bo Nix is in the third year of a 4-year deal with Denver. Fifth year, of course, was a first-round pick. It's a club or team option, however you want to describe that. And if he is hurt, which still feels like the biggest secret of training camp of any team, is what is the real status of Bo Nix as they get closer and closer to week one. It makes a lot of sense. That's the frustrating part here as a Buccaneer fan is it feels like Baker is going to play through this. I don't think he's going to get traded. I think he's
what's his choice? Don't take what is he, 17 million or whatever it is?
Yeah. And this has been a trend in his career, but this is a little different style of this. It's very cliche, but it has proven to be true. The best Baker Mayfield's a pissed off Baker Mayfield. True. When he's got that chip on his shoulder, man, he plays awesome. But I can't imagine like telling a grown man or an adult being like, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to give you and your new family a lot of money because we like seeing you angry at us. We like seeing you pissed off. We actually want you to hate us. So go out there and do your best. Win one for the Gipper, kid. I can't swear too much. I got my kids behind me, but I don't know if that's how I want to motivate my quarterback.
Well, I think 17. I think he averages 33. So let's just put him at $30 million. So you can play angry for $30 million, or you can sit out and get nothing. Piss me off. I'm ready for 30 million. Hell, for 3,000. Whatever. Let's go. Yeah, no, I think you guys are in rough shape. The Vita Vea thing is the more interesting one to me because is Vita Vea really trying to get out, or is Vita Vea just trying to put your feet to the fire to get a contract? He's 17 million a year. That's where I got that number from. Baker, I think Baker is always a bridesmaid Baker. Like I don't think he's. I love that you love him, but I don't. If that's my franchise quarterback, I'm not winning the Super Bowl. That's all I feel.
We move on to Don
I'd be coming
Mattingly.
up short, just like Baker.
I knew that was. I tried cutting you off before I could hear that. And Don Mattingly versus Bryce Harper. At some point, I'm going to figure out what I'm allowed to use and what I'm not allowed to use on YouTube. But there's a 2-minute video here from a reporter who spoke to Don Mattingly, Tyler Bornkowski, and got this cut of Mattingly saying this about Bryce Harper. Quote, when you say something about our team, then you're saying something about one of our players that you don't like. Now, that's in reference to Bryce Harper commenting about last night's game. There's been talk there in the Philadelphia market that Harper is one of the people pleading with the Phillies to add at the upcoming trade deadline. That they haven't been good enough. They haven't actually been playing very well, Philadelphia, in comparison to what they did a few weeks ago. Was Philadelphia is battling there for Atlanta, but they fall further and further back. The Phillies have lost 3 in a row, and they've lost 8 of their last 10, but still in the mix there, obviously, for a wild card spot. Levac, you love Don Mattingly. He's one of your favorite athletes of all time. Bryce Harper, even from the moment he was a teenager, has been known to ruffle a few feathers with his style. What do you make of this beef here? Or is it Philadelphia blowing it up? Is it real? Your thoughts here on what's going on in the city of brotherly love?
Bryce Harper's comments were kind of innocuous. Like, I hope we make a move. We bring some players in or something like that. Now, granted, if that started a little bit of a groundswell in the locker room, everybody going, who do you want replaced? Who don't you think is good enough? Whatever. Then I think Mattingly needed to say something. I believe that Don Mattingly made this a bigger deal than it would have been by commenting the way he did. But I also know that there's a good chance I would have done the same exact thing, because by insulting the moves of the front office, you insulted Preston Michael Mattingly. Don Mattingly's son, who is your GM, you insulted him. So, of course, Donnie Baseball is going to go, hey, shut your mouth, goober. Like, what's wrong with you? You're not even as good as you once were. Calm down. What are you saying? So I might take Bryce Harper in the dinger pool next week, because I think he's like a little Baker Mayfield out there. He's going to play angry. I get it. I understand that Mattingly felt like he had to defend the organization, defend the locker room kind of deal. But at the same time, I don't think we're talking about the Bryce Harper quote if Don Mattingly doesn't say what Don Mattingly said.
Totally agree. And we also have to remember the premise of some of these things. Like, there is a little bit of middle school. Ooh, did you hear what they said about you? Like, if you're asking the question of like, hey, what did you do deadline? Yeah, our third baseman stinks. Run over to the third baseman. Did you hear what Bryce Harper said about you? He says
you're stinky pooper duty.
What? He did.
I'll see him behind the school at 3.
That's it. You know, there is something too. I know there's an article, I think it's Awful Announced today, talking about like the insiders and the 49ers and all this stuff. There is something to the premise of like the reporters saying a player's injured or not injured, getting traded, or being first is more like, ha, 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 I knew it and you didn't. Now I got to follow what I said. There is some juvenile things to this stuff. Yeah, you're taking a shot at this kid. Relax, Bryce. We're going to make a move. Can I talk? I thought you were the veteran. I thought you were the MLB PA rep and all this other stuff. Philly's probably going to make a move. I didn't think they were. Yeah. 3 months ago, they looked like the team was going to sell because they stunk so bad and they had to clear some cap. And now it's like, boy, we do have one more year and we actually are kind of good. Let's just, is there a term called double all in? Not really, unless you grab somebody else's chips and throw those in there. You
can double down.
That's right. You could. That's so yeah. And you know what? I hope your guy wins Manager of the Year. I hope Donnie Baseball does that for a guy who took over during the season. That'd be pretty cool.
Does Bryce Harper have a no trade clause?
I would assume he does. That's got to be that.
He has a complete full no trade clause in his contract.
When do you got that up? Did he sign in 2018? Maybe. Is that a 10-year contract? I want to say
13 years.
Oh my gosh, it is.
2019. He's there until 2031 if everything stays the way it is. $330 million deal. Would you?
That's stupid.
If you're the Yankees, do you call and try to get like a cheap deal on him since he's ticked everybody off?
No, I don't think you do. I don't think future Yankee Bryce Harper, it's back, baby. Just had to wait a little longer.
And if we're being perfectly honest, it's not even about the way the guy plays. I'm a fan of the way he plays. He does have a big mouth for sure, but to finally be right.
Are we old enough now to have a good group of sports fans, and in particular baseball fans, that have no clue how big of a deal Bryce Harper was as a prospect? Like, still to this day, if someone asked me, like, who's the biggest prospect in baseball in your lifetime, I would say Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper was the LeBron of baseball. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but that was a big deal. When he was a junior in high school, he didn't graduate high school. I don't know how people remember these stories. It's been, 18 years, 20 years ago now. The Bryce Harper dropped out of high school to get his GED and go to a community college so he could be drafted number 1 overall. And he rocketed up the minors, and he was like the first travel kid when travel baseball. He had like his whole face painted with the war paint.
Yeah.
And they were like, they better not do that in the big leagues. I better not see some teenager painting themselves like a girl. I don't know what girl paints themselves like that, but anyways.
You don't want to know. Think about it this way, dude. If you if you brought him, so he's 33 right now, you'd have him until 2031. If you could get him to agree that he doesn't want to rework his contract, you're now getting Bryce Harper for 27, 27, 27, 23, 23, 23. All of a sudden, pretty reasonable contracts in modern day baseball. I wonder if Bryce Harper gets moved away from the Phillies because he ticked off the Mattingly family.
Bryce Harper's stats are okay, by the way.
Like, they're not bad.
Like, there's some years when, I mean, obviously when he's healthy, he's a better player, but like there's some, gosh, 22, 18 home runs, 65 RBIs, 23, 21 home runs, 72 RBIs. Like, it is Philadelphia. He takes the heat. They have been good. He's probably still going to the Hall of Fame. He's had a great career, all those things, MVP multiple times. Let's move on here to the WNBA. And I did this on purpose as much as I struggle with my banner sometimes. See what I did there? I made the PR capitalized.
Puerto Rican.
Well, that's not what I meant. Well, you type in WNBA problems, you'd think, oh, I know what it is. Are you talking about Seattle Storm minority owner Celeste Keaton, who was fined by the league, suspended for her team's next 5 games following an incident Tuesday night involving Sophie Cunningham fans? For those that don't know what was going on, Sophie Cunningham had been vocal about advocating against the inclusion of transgender women in sports. And there was we'll call it an event still, holding up signs. We love you, Sophie. Thank you, Sophie, for speaking up for girls while sitting outside of the Fever game. And then she started screaming at the fans, yelling and screaming and going wild. And I don't know if you saw the video. I'm like, again, is this AI? Is it not AI? A bad look, Levac, when your owner's screaming at people and it's getting filmed in 2026. Did you see this? Did you think it was as bizarre as the internet's telling us it is?
I haven't seen it, but I've read all the accounts. Like they were wearing XXXY t-shirts. The fact that you lost your mind over that is crazy, like literally crazy. The fact that Sophie Cunningham has doubled down, like, because this is more of it's almost it's 50-50, right? So it's a 50% sports issue and it's a 50% political issue. Politically, everybody who is against, everything is going to hate you for saying that, no, biology matters in sports. You can decide whether or not it matters to you in real life or whatever, but in the world of sports, biology matters. But people aren't hearing that. They're hearing, you want to take away my rights. You don't think I'm an equal. That's what they're hearing. And it's a bit ridiculous to me because I think Sophie Cunningham is 100% right. But the fact that she's continuing to say it while people are coming after her for it is impressive, because a lot of people would have backed down just because, like, you know what, I'm going to shut up and dribble. I'm just going to shut up and dribble. I'll be fine. But like, in my experience with this, the people who think that a trans woman should be able to compete with biological females are not people who played sports. Because how about this? Why are there weight classes? Like, why are there weight classes? Like,
safety, protection. Yeah.
I'm trans slender. I identify as a skinnier person. I should be able to fight lighter people. And it's I'm just saying, like, there's so many things in life where you can say, hey, you do you live your life the way you want to live your life. I'm here with you. Sophie Cunningham said something to the effect of, like, there's a spot at my table for everyone. I'm just trying to protect girls in sports. And I think that's a great way to look at it. But like, I think that if you've ever played a contact sport or a combat sport, even if you've just done it like in your yard, you realize that there's guardrails to protect people's physicality. Like, I shouldn't be able to wrestle a 150 pounder. I wouldn't want to box a 150 pounder. Probably light me the F up. But like, that's a thing, right? And if you saw me fight a woman, even if she was my size, you would think I was a piece of crap. Now, granted, I'm not going to get into trans rights or any of that stuff. That's not, you live your life. I don't want, I just think that as a girl dad, I wouldn't be super comfortable with someone who's born as a biological male competing against my daughter in a physical combat sport or in basketball is extremely physical. People forget. Like I would have a problem with that. So that's me. I don't care how you think. You can comment if you want at the Jeff Levesque. I really don't care. That's what I think. But the fact that she's doubled down and the fact that her sneakers are selling out and this is happening, it just shows you where we're at as a world. Like people think it's hate speak. I saw a dude who is a public figure in this area just post about requiring IDs to vote. And people I know who I agree with on a lot of things were like, I can't believe you put out this hate speech. It's like, I just told you what I thought. I think everyone should be allowed to vote. I just think you should prove it's you. That's all. Like, that's all I think. And like, it's just, so everything's so hot button for her to stand by it. And for the WNBA to come out and be like, listen, you can feel how you feel, but you can't harass fans like that to the ownership. I think this whole thing is so much bigger than the WNBA right now. The WNBA needs a reality show. I would watch the WNBA reality show before a game any day of the week.
Oh, you set me up perfectly for this because that's where I wanted to take that conversation. Put me in the room when people start handing out suspensions and have like the what is it?
I just got a call from Russia, so I don't know what that means. Hopefully they agree with me.
Wait, maybe it was a Russian term. What was the name of the term? Like a powerful, not the Illuminati, but there was another term that people used to
talk oligarch?
about. Some like group of people that would make all the decisions in the world.
Oh, well, the Illuminati, but then the Illuminati.
Something like that. The Illuminati, something like that, where it's like, I want to be in that room where they're making the calls and who gets suspended, who doesn't. But like the owner is unhinged.
Yes.
Like you're the owner of the team. Sit down. What are you doing? Yelling at teenage girls. You're a grown woman. Sit down. I don't care what they're saying.
They're going to agree with me after I scream at them.
I'm just like, they're teenagers. They can go out there. If they're causing issues and problems, then go. Like if someone's getting bothered and they're like being idiots or drunk or anything, that's a different conversation. If someone's truly bothered by it, but calling them trash, like, and here's the other thing, and this is going to take a weird way to get to this path, but hang with me on this. So yesterday I'm helping get my boys to sleep. They're, it's nap time. They're getting ready for vacation. They're all this stuff. So we're helping. And we're getting it done. My wife's got one. So I come downstairs. My sister-in-law is here. She's here for a few days. She's doing some training for a job. So she's watching a trash television show on Netflix. And it's called Toxic. I want to make sure I get this right. A Toxic Love Story. And let me tell you, it's been a long time since I've watched a trash television show on Netflix. I'm like, I'll be in and out. And Jordan will come out and watch Big Brother, which is not less than trash. I'm invested in this thing. I couldn't get enough. I'm like, I haven't watched one of these terrible shows in so long. This is great. I actually had some time. The point of that story is that if you told me to make a judgment on that show 10 minutes into the show, I would have told you everything I knew. Like, this is the worst, and this person sucks, this person. And then Netflix style, it switches 10 minutes later. Netflix style switches 20 minutes later. I use that comparison because I can't judge what happened in that event on a 30-second video. Now, most people will be like, oh, look at this guy's an idiot. Were they heckling somebody? Are they the victims? Just put that stuff in perspective. Are you going to judge exactly what happened in an event that may have taken 2 to 3 hours in a 30-second video? I don't know if this is a great example of that because it's the owner being an idiot, but just remember that when you're making wild things. Yeah, I'm not done, by the way, in the WNBA. There's another one today. I thought that was it. But wait, there's more. The WNBA social media account had to go to their social media account and quickly delete a post involving 2 star players. That's right. Angel Reese and Paige Beckers are involved in controversy involving the league because of what happened in the All-Star game. That's right. Reese and Beckers were shown betting on the game. A friendly that's right. That's how you get the headlines, by the way. Star players bet on WNBA game. Oh, I got to click on this. Before the All-Star game, the two put up close to $500 of whose team was going to win. And they showed them exchanging the money and saying, if your team wins, you get $500. If I win, and they posted the video. And then it quickly got deleted. People are like, are you guys that dumb? Are you guys that dumb where you're actually showing your own players betting on games? I used to have to watch an NCAA video where the coach would bet like with the players on their team and say, sorry, Johnny, you're out for the season. They're like, it was so dumb and cheesy, but like, Well, I don't know if you make of this, like people pile on the WNBA for dumb stuff. You are executive roles in teams. Are there just like policies of like, guys, come on, we can't be this dumb?
This is what I call an IQ test. This is what I call it. Because I saw the video at first, because the way I saw it, a reporter found Beckers and was asking her about it. And Beckers was playing like she didn't remember it. And and wagering is so normal in my life that I was like, I wonder why she doesn't remember it. That's crazy. And then like realizing, oh, because if she remembers it, she admits to it, and that's a problem. Here's where it becomes an IQ test. I 100% believe that players should be able to bet against other players. But I don't think we should hear about it. As the great Herm Edwards once said, don't press send. Don't press send. Why do you have to post everything? Don't press send on that one. You know, if you want to go $400 or $500 ahead against each other in the WNBA All-Star game, have at it. But don't talk about it. First rule of Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. So it's an IQ test, and they both failed.
Incredible. I'm just like, I know people, it's so easy to pile on the WNBA, but then you see moments like this, you're like, guys.
Is it? Hello, ladies.
I wrote my original banner for this. My original banner for this was drop in the bag, where like you had this moment in time where you could have taken your sport to the next level, and everything we hear about the sport is complete opposite direction of that. The man, you know, I don't think we ever talked about the commissioner dodging a Dan Patrick interview and all this stuff. It's not been a great year for the WNBA. All right, quickly here as we get closer and closer into the show, comments from the world. People who have been contributing to the show. We appreciate you and everything you do. We had a nice post here. What does he go by now? Nate Dog, Nerdy Nate, Nathaniel. He wrote this.
Yeah, all of them.
Let's go. Love you guys.
Oh, you commented on that? Thanks. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. That's it.
Bill wrote in. Hopefully we'll still Nate again soon. Bill wrote in. At first, guys, I was kind of annoyed with your movie reviews, but now I actually like them.
Oh, very good. I'm going to try to see Spider-Man this weekend after the game. So maybe I'll be able to do a quick review of Spider-Man.
My boys were not happy today about Spider-Man. That we had a miscommunication about Spider-Man because allegedly Spider-Man, by the way, it was like a rainy day here in Syracuse, so it was the perfect day to take the kids to the playground indoors, which is at McDonald's, whatever. So the kids loved it. It's a perfect spot for all three of my boys.
I love how you pretend you don't go to McDonald's and you're like, I only go once in a while. We get the apples, but we have our own table.
Hello, Kozlowski family. Here we are. They're promoting the New Day toys at McDonald's if you're not in the United States of America. So
what?
I got fooled. Yeah, I guess the Spider-Man toys are in different McDonald's around the world, but not the one in the US. They have some other toys. So my boys are like, what? Where's Spider-Man? Yeah.
That's crap, dude.
I know, dude. I know.
This is where you and I are so different. Like, I grew up loving that stuff so much that I'd be like, get in the car. We're going to Walmart. Get in the car. We're going to, well, actually, would have been when I was a kid. Toys R Us. We're going to go. You're getting, you get a Spider-Man and you get a Spider-Man and you get a Spider-Man. I would have, oh man, there's no way I wouldn't be able to handle the disappointment of not getting the Spider-Man toy. I would be so mad. McDonald's, what the hell are you doing? I wonder if there's a rule. I wonder if they're like, I know that like in New York State Liquor Authority, they don't want bars to promote binge drinking. That's why they don't do like drinking with Lincoln or pennies till you pee or any of those. You can't do those things. You can't do like a real happy hour with like a drastic discount. I wonder if there's like an anti-fat law in New York or in the United States where it's like, we're not going to give toys out with fast food because we don't want kids to get fat. Like, I wonder if that's what it is.
No, that can't be it. They got toys. Okay. I mean, they got stuff. They got hooked
Spider-Man
up
in the U.S.
I don't know.
Spider-Man a communist? I'm so upset.
Our guy Matt wrote in double comments directed at me. Hey, whoever is this guy calling the cornhole tournament on ESPN right now could be Gaz's brother. I have to admit I wasn't watching cornhole last night on ESPN. I don't know if he looked like me, he sounded like me. I don't know the comparison. I apologize for not getting the reference there, Matt. But
I think you've addressed the bigger issue. Why are you watching a cornhole tournament? I don't even have cable anymore, and I've got a million options on what to watch. And the only time I've watched cornhole tournaments is if I've been in them, or I saw one where it was Daniel Jones versus Sam Darnold with pros back in the day. So that, or like maybe a topless one I would watch. I think that would be interesting. Not topless men, by the way. No offense, fans.
Last one here. Our guy Frank, big Sienna fan, was posting about former Sienna assistant, now Syracuse assistant, Ben Lee. For those who don't know Ben was part of that huge Merrimack scouting report. Rumor has it he also had the scouting report for Duke. So as much as Jerry McNamara and Renzo Owaku and Ryan Blackwell get a lot of credit for the coach, this is the guy who's probably like the next Division I basketball head coach. The piece today about Ben Lee says he's 29 years old and has 5,263 contacts on his phone. And the guy never stops working. Frank wrote, guys, he's on a fast track to running his own program. One of the best assistants in Division I. I'll enjoy watching his continued rise. Our guy Kevin Sweeney said the same thing. Matt Bopp wrote, tell him to take a break. Syracuse will be played. Syracuse will be played on opening day of the ACC tournament, anyways. That was unnecessary, Matt. Like a double shout outs. One of them, I think, was offensive to me. What the hell?
It came right for you. Both barrels. That's it. Sometimes Matthew Bopp chooses violence, and this is one of those times. He chose violence.
Those are your comments from the world. There you go.
All right. We that's Thursday, man. I don't know. Like this week's about to get cray cray. I know you're getting ever so close to a beach vacation. I am not. I'm not there yet, but I'm 20 some odd days till Disney. 20.
Yes.
I have to look.
As of right now, our schedule looks like this, and I'll try to remind people on social media. We are likely going to post an episode Friday. We are going to post an episode tomorrow. And then Monday and Tuesday, I'm on vacation. That was a planned vacation. I know the Firebirds will react to all that. That's likely coming out Wednesday, and I'm very happy because that'll also set us up for sponsors who are there. I sent you an awesome email today. I'm thrilled about that email. We got a lot of cool stuff. We told you August 1st stuff was coming, and a good turn of events. It's a little closer to the 4th. We can start announcing live shows soon. So that break is good for both of us. We will be back on Wednesday with more content, but not before we sign off on the week coming up tomorrow. So just some programming things.
I got 25 days to Disney. 25 days to Disney.
When you're in Disney, by the way, don't worry. So we got that'll be called Evergreen Week. We got some content coming that week, and I'll have some fill-ins for you as well.
Yeah, you're gonna need them because I got plans. I usually do. It's like a 6-day trip. Day there, day back, 4 days at the park, 5 days at the park, something like that. I have, because of the special that Disney had, I have park tickets for every day we're there. So it's gonna be. I'm gonna be very busy. I'm gonna be very, very busy. The only way I could be less busy is if you would just go ahead and hit that freaking button